Not much change out there. As you can see, I'm back at the cabin. It was minus 15 at daylight this morning, and it's now up to minus, I think, 6 or something like that when I left the house. I don't know. It does in the daytime now, in late afternoon, it does get above freezing, and some of this is melting. But boy, it's going to take a long time to melt it all. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm out here, and what I'm planning to do is a bit of a temporary setup with the solar panels. One of my subscribers, Schuler maybe, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce your last name, Schuyler. I would have said Schuler, except I'm not sure what you do with that Y, so I'm probably butchering your name. But anyway, he's been very interested in the solar project that I have going here, and he has suggested that I could put it together and put it in front of one of the windows in here. And of course that wouldn't be the optimum way to set it up. I can't put it outside, as I said in one of my previous videos, because of the wind. It's got to be permanently anchored on something when it goes outside. But it should generate some electricity that way, and maybe I'll get a chance to try those lights out. So that isn't actually together. I've just sort of stuck it together. I have a package of nuts and bolts that I have to work on. That's the frame. And it would normally have these two pieces hooked here on the back, and that's what would prop it up on the ground or whatever. But as I've said, with the wind that we get here, that would be a kite. It would take off in no time. And it's not as wide as I had visualized it. I've had it up to the window, and it's pretty good. It pretty much covers the window. So we'll get it put together here and see if it generates any electricity for me. I'm going to set the GoPro up in the corner doing time lapse, and I'll probably do some narration over the top of the time lapse when I post this. But well, I guess this isn't too bad. It's going quite fast because I've doubled the speed. If not, this would be very boring and go on forever. First, I'm putting in a set of bolts here, one in each of the four corners. And then after I get them all installed, of course, I realize that I've used the wrong bolts. I didn't realize that there were two sizes. As I say a little later on in this thing here, if I have a chance to use the wrong one, I'll always use the wrong one first. I moved the camera there for a second, and it made this get darker for a few minutes. It does brighten up here in a second or two. The solar panels are much heavier than I realized that they were, because I guess it's two sheets of glass. There's one on the front, and then the solar cells in between, another sheet of glass on the back. And glass is heavy, so I've decided that this can't go up to the window. Not exactly the best view of me there. It all goes together quite well. They've made some improvements in the kit since they wrote the little manual that comes with it. The bolts now have wing nuts. Made it much faster. Well, there are the panels assembled onto the frame. Wasn't as difficult, I guess, as I thought it would be. I don't know if I can use that time lapse I just did or not. I haven't played it back to see whether I'm actually in the frame or not. But if I am, and you were able to watch it, you no doubt noticed that I put the frame together at the four corners and then took it back apart again. I didn't realize there were two different size bolts, and I was using the wrong ones, of course. If I have a chance, I always use the wrong one first. My plans had been to try to put this up to the window, and I thought, a couple of screws on the bottom, a couple of screws on the top, just to support it up there. But this is way too heavy for anything like that. I don't know what that weighs, but it's really heavy. If I tried fastening that up to the window, it's going to crash down and smash up for sure. I'm still going to try hooking it up, and possibly I can put it on chairs. There is some sun on the floor here, as you can see there. It would get a little bit of sun that way, but anyway, I'm glad to have it at least that much assembled. I haven't put these supports on the back, and they were supposed to go on in an early phase, but I didn't do it because I didn't think I was going to be using them, but I think I can still put them on now. and we'll see what happens here. But I'm going to try hooking up the harness of wires and whatever and see where we go from there. There's a very temporary hookup, I guess. I don't even have these legs back here screwed on, so it's just basically propped up there. As I said, I don't dare put it up the window. I don't know what that thing weighs, but 50 pounds or more, and it would come crashing down and I'd lose the whole outfit. So I will leave it set up like this in the floor here. I may move it back closer to the coach. I'm trying to decide where it would get the most sun. As you can see, the panels are only getting sun on a little over half of them, I guess. But I have it hooked up, all the wires down here harnessed together. And this is the controller thing. It was up to over 14. It's now at 13.8. Before I hooked up the battery, which is back there, this low volume or low voltage I suppose, light was flashing. Once I hooked the battery up, that stopped flashing, so maybe the battery already had some charge into it. The instructions say 3 days in the sun to charge the battery before you should start really putting any load on it. And a little bit of sun is getting here. It'll be 3 weeks, I imagine, but I'm encouraged to see that it works anyway. I have the two lights hooked up, and I've tried them both, and that's what dropped the reading back there. It was over 14 until I tried the two lights, and that dropped it back. It's gone to 13.9 there, so I guess it's headed back for 14 again. This is the one that came with the unit, and I call that a CFL. It's 2 tubes in there, so I don't know. I guess it's a CFL. And this is the LED 5-watt LED bulbs that I came in from China somewhere. Anyway, I have them both plugged in. They have off-on switches, so I can show you the difference in them. That is the LED, which is very bright. I can't wait to come out here after dark. You can see it already put that down to 13.5 just by snapping it on. It goes right back up again when I snap it off. And the CFL one is a much weaker light. I have no idea. It doesn't say anywhere on it what the wattage would be or whatever, but that wouldn't give you enough light to read by, I don't think. But I'll know tonight because I'll come back out after dark and see what I can do here. That's it for right now, I guess. I wish I could set it up in a more permanent way, but that's not going to happen for many weeks here till the snow melts. After dark to come back out here to see how much light the 2 different kinds of light bulbs give. And I think this is the first time in a long time that my solar lights on the outside of the cabin have been working. The little solar screen that charges the tiny little battery, wherever that is, has been covered with snow for such a long period of time, but evidently it was out enough in the sun today that it has got the lights turned on this evening anyway. Well, here we are in the dark. If I can reach over and find these little switches, I'll try one of these. Oh, wait a minute, yeah. Okay, it's reading 13 volts, I guess. That is the one that I'm calling a CFL. And that's not much light. I guess if I was sitting right at the table, I could still read with it. I've just hung them up above the old lantern there. Did that earlier this afternoon. Oh yeah, there's a big difference. That's just one. Yeah, that I really would only need one of those going at a time, I think. There are 2, and I can put them in 2 different locations on the ceiling, and one over the table here would certainly give light enough to sit there and read or eat or whatever, and then perhaps another one over the futon or over the cooking area here or something, but definitely prefer the LED to the CFL, as I had a feeling that I would. And it is dropping the voltage reading here already. It's down to 12.7. I've had read or had somebody tell me that,
this display on here, of course, uses a certain amount of energy, so you could shut it off. But I don't think this one, I don't think it continues to charge. I'm not sure. I shut it off today. I'll just do it briefly here. And it shuts everything off. Whether, I mean, it wouldn't be charging tonight anyway, I realize that, but whether it would continue to charge with that shut down or not, I don't know. And there aren't any instructions that come with it that tell you that sort of thing. They just basically tell you how to get it hooked up. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I just had to come out here after dark to see how much light that gives, and I'm very satisfied with it. If it were up higher as well, up on the ceiling where I plan to put them, it would distribute the light better. It's hiding in behind that lantern thing there. So, thank you for watching.